So the Yankees losing streak continues all the way to now 8 games. They are now 9 games out of the last wildcard spot, which is currently being held by the Seattle Mariners. Red Sox are actually making some sort of right now a leap, I would say, because of this sweep. So I want to know, what's your reaction to the Yankees' collapse this season, and also your hopes and potential expectations for a potential Red Sox resurgence to their season?
Well, I'm quite surprised that the Yankees are so poor this year. I mean, having one guy, Judge, get hurt, they just collapsed after that, basically. They have a lot of pitchers that are hurt. I don't know. They don't seem to stay healthy. Maybe they need a new trainer or something. They always seem to have problems with the people being hurt, and usually it's early in the season, and then they come together and make a run at the end. Now that they still have players hurt, Judge has come back. He hasn't played very well since he came back. They're 6-17 since he came back. So I'm quite surprised that the Yankees are this poor. I didn't think we talked on Friday, what was the series going to be, and I said the Red Sox would win 2, and you said they'd win 1.
Right.
And they won all 3, and we're both surprised, right? I was very surprised they swept the Yankees.
What do you think about the Red Sox, though? Do you have any? You know what? We'll talk about the Yankees, then we'll both jump in with the Red Sox.
Okay.
So there's a stat out here. This is the Yankees so far through this 8-game losing streak. They've had 3 of the worst stats in the MLB so far. Runs per game, 2.5. Batting average, 168. That is terrible. Slugging percentage, 304. Team ERA, a little over 6. Like, this is really, really bad for a team that's coming off of a season where, yes, they did make the playoffs and actually had a pretty decent run in the playoffs, and Judge hitting 62 home runs. And people thought when Judge got hurt, it's, when Judge gets back, the Yankees will be back in form again. He's their only hitter. That hasn't really been the case. Judge has been not that great, and you know what? Judge wasn't the answer to revive whatever the Yankees had left. I also don't think Nestor Cortez, who's on the 15-day IL, if or when he comes back, he's going to be this new spark plug to get this team back on track. Judge in the last 5 games is batting 166. I mean, he's not even hitting well. I think he has 10 strikeouts and 18 at bats. It's not pretty at all. So I don't. Judge is not the answer. Giancarlo Stanton's the answer. Is not the answer. Anthony Rizzo's not the answer.
Where is he? He didn't even play in this series.
He's also hurt as well.
Oh.
The Yankees are dealing with a couple injuries here, but you know what? Regardless of the fact, the Yankees weren't all that great. They had a little bit of life early on in the season. But I mean, they were behind the Rays. The Rays had that huge run early on. They've actually fallen off a pretty decent cliff, and the Orioles have stepped up. The Red Sox now, or let's just jump into the Red Sox portion of this. They seem to be coming, maybe coming alive a little bit. However, against the Yankees is not saying much this season because they only have 1 loss on the year when it comes to playing the Yankees. So, I don't know. Do you have faith in your Boston Red Sox? What are you expecting so far down the line?
I have one more thing to say about the Yankees. They got to be, the fans and the organization got to be pretty disappointed in Giancarlo Stanton.
I would say so, yeah.
I mean, he's got a huge contract, and he can't hit the broadside of a barn. he can't.
This season has not been a good season for him. He's batting under 200. He's batting under 200.
Under 200.
Yeah,
that is terrible.
On base percentage is 281. It's
281.
Bad. It's bad.
And how many home runs has he got?
He has 18, which is not bad. But it's sort of, I feel like it's that was it Chris Davis on the Orioles, where it would be a strikeout or a home run. Yeah, right. Either one of them. So I guess it's a little bit of that effect.
Yeah. So the Red Sox, I'm feeling pretty good about them right now, but they've got a tough schedule, right? They have the second hardest schedule the rest of the way. And it begins tonight in Houston. They don't even get a day off after the series against the Yankees. They got to go play Houston for 3 games, and that's going to be real challenging because Houston's ahead of them, and Houston's not going to want to let the Red Sox make up ground on them. So I see that's on the road too. So I see that as being very challenging. Although I do think the Red Sox have been playing better. The hitting has been good, timely hitting. Justin Turner having a great year. Really, a very good year. Aaron Boone mentioned him yesterday in the postgame. He said, Justin Turner beat us. And he got those 2 hits. He had 4 RBIs out of the 5. And it looks like Rafael Devers is playing better now in terms of his hitting. He had a lot of hits in the Yankees series, so they seem to be hitting the ball. They've got some young guys that what's his name?
Pablo Reyes.
Pablo Reyes has been playing very well. So he's worked his way into the lineup. What happened to Arroyo? I know he hasn't been in there for quite a stretch. I don't know what happened to him. They've been playing that Urias guy instead of him, who had a grand slam in the Yankees series. That guy's hitting like 170 or something.
Yeah, on the year it's not pretty.
He hit that grand slam. You have the catchers are playing well. Connor Wong, Reese McGuire playing well. So things are looking up for the Sox, but they haven't had the toughest schedule. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Nationals. So the Nationals actually been playing better though in the second half of the year.
Right.
So do we have the Red Sox schedule? Is it something we can look at?
I do not have the Red Sox schedule. However, I will say this. I talked about this. I don't know if it was on Friday or on Monday, because we've talked about the Red Sox a number of times in the post show. Their first day off is September 7th. They play every single day, travel to multiple cities up until September 7th. So, and I told you, the chances are that you're going to see Devers out there every night, Justin Turner, Trevor Story, Duvall out there every single night is just unlikely, especially if they do have a little bit of a run, because you want to save those guys for a potential postseason run. You don't want them to be gassed by, I don't know, let's say they win a wild card game, let's just say by chance. They may be burnt out by game 2 of the divisional series. You have no idea. So my guess would be you're going to see a bunch of no names that are coming up from, not the starting, rotation of guys you bring up. You're going to probably see a bunch of nobodies in the as pitchers or as rotational guys. I mean, Pablo Reyes, he was just some guy, really. I mean, the Red Sox brought him up. You didn't know who he was. Then all of a sudden, he's hitting 300. And he's been incredible for the Red Sox so far. So, I mean, it's going to be difficult. As you said, yes, they do have the second toughest schedule. They play the Orioles 7 times, the Rays 5 times, the Dodgers 3 times, the Rangers 3 times, the Astros 7 times, the Blue Jays, who are like the lowest tier of the toughest opponents, they play them 3 more times. And then your easiest opponents, you play the Yankees 4 more times, you play the White Sox 3 times, you play the Royals 3 times. Now, they haven't actually had the best luck with some of the bad teams. The Royals, they didn't have much luck against the Royals. The White Sox will have to wait and see. And then the Yankees, they've been dominant against the Yankees. So I have no fear when it comes to that.
The law of averages says that even the worst team winds up winning a few. And I think with the Yankees, there's a pride thing there, being beat by the Red Sox so badly this year. I think that 4-game series in Boston is going to be very hard for the Red Sox.
Yeah, so I'll bring it up right now. As of right now, we're taking a look at the Red Sox here. If I can bring it up relatively quickly, which I believe I can. Here we go. So the wild card right now, the Red Sox are currently 3 games behind the wild card. The Mariners are in that last spot. The Blue Jays are a half game out. So really, it's between the Blue Jays and the Mariners and the Red Sox, I feel like, for the wild card, because the next highest outside of the Red Sox are the Angels at 8.5. Think about it. I threw the Angels away. I throw the Angels away every single year because that's kind of what the Angels are. They have 2 really, really great players, but you can't get anything done with them. Yeah. So the fact that the Yankees have fallen even behind the Angels is saying just how bad this has been for the Yankees. The fact that, I have zero hope. Yes, I understand Ohtani's probably the greatest player, or is definitely on track to be the greatest player in MLB history, at least two-way player. I think he could be the greatest right now. You have Mike Trout, for a number of years, was the best player in baseball. And have we even seen them in the postseason? I don't think we've seen.
Mike Trout's only been in the postseason, I think, once.
And I feel like that was very early on in his career. So it's been a very, very long time since we saw Angels postseason baseball. And the Yankees just made it to what? Was it the ALCS, if I'm not mistaken? So, and they have fallen down to 9 games behind in the wild card.
I don't think anybody behind the Red Sox is going to catch the Red Sox, even if they don't make it to the wild card. The problem for the Red Sox, as I see it, is the number of teams that are ahead of them. Yeah. Right? It's not just the Blue Jays. It's the Mariners and the Blue Jays, right? Both of them. And both of them have, we looked at the strength of schedule, like the Blue Jays have very weak. They're They're
I think it's the 23rd toughest schedule.
23rd toughest schedule. So they have,
23rd.
it's going to be easier for them. And the Mariners also, their schedule, strength of schedule was pretty easy
The
too.
Mariners have the 26th toughest schedule, and the Astros have the 28th toughest schedule.
Yeah.
And then I guess Tampa Bay is the only one where you could say, oh, maybe they have a chance, because Tampa at the moment, they're 5 games, they have a 5-game nice lead in the wild card, but they have the 7th toughest schedule. So if they have another huge drop off like they did, about midway through the year, there's potentially that the Red Sox could step up and make that instead of let's see, it's really right now a 4-team race: the Astros, the Mariners, the Blue Jays, and the Red Sox. If the Rays start to dip a little bit, that could be a 5-team race. Add the Rays in there to potentially allow the Red Sox a little sneak in. But I think I said way early on in the season, like maybe game 4, when the only possibility they had at winning was comebacks or walk-off home runs or something like that, because they had terrible pitching, but their hitting was on fire. I said it's going to be tough to see this team win 70 games. Well, I'm happy to say I'll probably be wrong with that. They're at 66 right now, but I also didn't expect the AL East to be the toughest division in baseball. That is something that I do not think has ever happened, at least recently. It's normally been a 2-team race, and that generally was the Yankees and the Red Sox. It wasn't the Orioles were dominant. The Rays have been great for their number of years now. The Blue Jays make it interesting every year. The Red Sox, they've had dips and valleys, but they've also had a few peaks in there. And the Yankees consistently, generally, have been okay to good. But if it comes to postseason time and the Yankees are in, they're generally pretty disappointing in the biggest and brightest moments.
You think Aaron Boone's job's in jeopardy?
I think it should have been gone last. No, they made the LCS, so that makes sense. But yeah, I do think it's in jeopardy. I absolutely think it is, because you've had great moments. You've bought a lot of players. I mean, you have one of the highest payrolls in baseball right now. The Mets and the Yankees, 2 New York teams with massive payrolls, and have been huge disappointments every single year. Especially now, the Mets. I mean. Now looking at it, I don't think spending over $320 million, gives you a lot of confidence. If anything, it puts a lot of pressure.
It's the Yankees spent all that money. Who the hell do they have on the field? Most of those players I never heard of before. The starting 9 out there yesterday, there wasn't any besides Stanton and Judge and Torres. Right? Who the hell were the rest of those guys? I don't know who they were.
You got a couple. I'm not going to say great piece. You got a couple interesting pieces.
Who's their catcher? I never heard of him. I don't know what they're paying those guys. I mean, Garrett Cole, he makes big money. He makes big money. I guess their pitching staff.
It is difficult against the Red Sox, though.
Yeah.
But they have that guy Volpe who's supposed to be this guy. Yeah, he's supposed to be this really
rookie,
good
so
prospect.
he's not making a ton of money.
He's batting low 200s.
He's not making a ton of money.
Right. DJ LeMahieu is interesting.
I forgot him.
He's interesting, but he's not a good player.
He's
not
old.
A great player.
He hasn't played well the last couple of years.
He batted over 4 in that last game.
Yeah.
But you know what? Red Sox are looking up. Yankees are looking straight down.
I would say, if the Red Sox get into the wild card, I think they have a good chance of getting to the World Series, because if they can get through this, if they can get through this schedule, right, and make it to the wild card, then they will win. They will be beating some very good talent. They will.
That is an interesting take. Yeah. No, I mean. That is something. If the Red Sox make the playoffs, if they
make the playoffs, I think they have a good chance to get to the World Series, because they will have beaten the very good talent to get there. They will have. I mean, they have 7 games against Baltimore, right?
Yeah, 7 remaining.
So they got to win 3 or 4 of those, and at least.
And they also have 3 games against the Dodgers. 5 against the Rays.
They got to win every series.
3 against the Rangers.
To make up 3 games now, right? With really 2 or 3 teams, the 3 teams ahead of you for sure.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Houston. How many games is Houston ahead of them?
Houston, I believe, is 3. I'll bring it up. I believe they're 3.5.
3.5 ahead of the Red Sox. That's all. Well, the Red Sox can sweep the series.
Yeah.
Sweep the series. I don't think they will, because they're playing away from home. But then they have Houston again at home. Right.
Well, let's just say hypothetically, if the Red Sox go in, right, and sweep Houston, I think there's a very good chance. Regardless, they'll be a half game behind Houston, but I think if they sweep them, I think they'll be in that last wild card spot already.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, there's two other teams there, the Blue Jays and the Mariners.
The Blue Jays are half game out, and then the Mariners have that solidified last spot. But, I mean, it puts them right there. It basically puts them in if they're not already.
They've missed a lot of opportunities here. They lost 3 in a row to the Blue Jays recently, right? And they lost, 2 out of 3 to the Seattle when they were on the West Coast. So
I believe so, yeah.
Those are 2 teams ahead of you. You got to do better than that.
And it's not good when you have trouble against the Athletics, which happened a couple weeks ago.
Right. They lost 2 out of 3 to them.
And you don't look great against the Royals either. And now you have to play. Was it the Royals again? You're hoping to at least.
Hopefully, the Royals will be playing all their AAA team members by then. I would think.
You also play the White Sox, who haven't been great this year.
Again, the White Sox shouldn't be playing. They should be playing their farm team, too.
And the Yankees are the Yankees.
I think the Yankees ought to throw in the towel, too. They might as well bring up the AAA players. You
know what's funny? I remember a quote that I actually mentioned on this show. Nestor Cortez, I believe, said that the Yankees, it might have been Nestor Cortez, but I'm not too sure. The Yankees-Red Sox matchup hasn't been what it used to be because the Red Sox were so bad. Well, I mean, I think they have to take back that quote. The Red Sox have beat the crap out of the Yankees this season. They only have one win against the Red Sox.
I know.
So it's a little bit of karma right there.
The Red Sox were doing really well against the Blue Jays too until this last series. They hadn't lost at all to them.
Yeah.
Then they lost 3 in a row.
Well, isn't this year the opposite of last year, where the Red Sox couldn't beat the AL East?
They couldn't beat the AL East at all. This year they're doing quite well against them, but we're going to see here in the last month and a half of the season here, right? Because they're playing a lot of their rivals in the division leading up to the end.
Yeah, you got.
I'll be watching.
Let's see. You have 9 series left. You're playing 4 of them against your own division rivals.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a fun adventure to watch. I'm sure you'll be on the edge of your seat tonight. Each and every game, especially against those division rivals.
Let's go.
It's going to be interesting. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.